Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about Rich Dad's Rules to Wealth Creation. This is from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is a book on finance, business and entrepreneurship. So I'm going to get straight into it. The first bit is the importance of financial education. The first rule, should I say. So in this there's Rich Dad, which is Robert Kiyosaki's best mate's dad, and then Poor Dad, which is biological dad, which went through the normal life of get good grades, go to university, get a good job. So he emphasises that traditional education often lacks essential financial knowledge because they don't teach you taxes or anything to do with finance really. They just teach you, like I say, get good grades to get a good job, and that doesn't really help you because you can have a good job and no financial literacy and then just get into debt and be even worse off. So many people are just ill prepared to manage their money after leaving school or education. Kiyosaki's Rich Dad taught him the importance of self-education. So most people think education finishes after school, but it actually is only just getting started because the most you'll ever learn is actually after school. But if you don't then go and try and learn after school, you'll learn nothing. So he encouraged him to seek financial knowledge outside of school through real life experiences, which is actually how you learn the most. You can sit and read books all day, but until you actually take a step in the real world, you're never going to actually succeed in anything. So on the topic of school education, how I see it is they just teach you what they want you. They just teach you what they want you to know. So it's not actually for you, it's what they want you to know. I don't know how to explain it any better, but say you want to be a footballer, how do they help you become a footballer? They say you have to do English, you have to do maths, you have to do all these things that really don't help you in life. You can speak English and you can count and you can add up, which is very basic. You finish that in secondary school. Why do you need all this other Shakespeare and that red means angry and all this? You don't. Unless you want to go into English, want to be a teacher, want to write books, whatever, it's pretty pointless. So people often say, oh, you like business, why didn't you do it at A-level, or why don't you go to college or uni and do business? And it's because how I see it is that if there's a teacher within business in a college, uni, school, then if they actually knew business, why aren't they running their own business? Or why aren't they selling courses on business or being a mentor? So what you actually need to do if you like business is find someone that runs a business in what you want to go into. So if you want to go into, let's say, gym launch, there's obviously Alex Hormozzi, although he might not do mentoring. That's just an example. And then the last bit that I almost forgot about is I actually took business at GCSE and I can't remember any of it apart from the fact that they teach you definitions of words. Apart from the fact that they teach you definitions of words and that they teach you they pretty much just do maths. So it was pretty pointless really. I didn't really learn much. And then work to learn, not for money. This is what a lot of people actually teach. I heard on a podcast by Alex Hormozzi. It's called The Game on Spotify. Help some people out with that. And his dad believed that education comes through learning practical experiences. And so to instill this principle into Robert Kiyosaki, he made him work at his shop for nothing. And they were encouraged to learn about several aspects of business, investing and entrepreneurship. But by working for free initially, they gained valuable knowledge and skills that would benefit them in the long run. So Kiyosaki didn't understand at first why he weren't getting paid, and they were getting a bit angry, and at one point he tried to quit and all these different things. But later down the line, after running businesses and starting businesses and being an entrepreneur, he realised that he was teaching him a good practical example that when you start a business you have to work for nothing, and so you keep working without earning any money, without feeling like you're getting anything. It's the whole delayed gratification again. got a video on that. And so, and his poor dad actually ended up like getting angry and saying, "Oh, I can't believe you're working for nothing, child slave labour, all this." And like I say, it was just a principle to make him think that you don't have anyone else to rely on to like pay you. You have to rely on yourself. You have to earn the money yourself. You have to make it yourself. No one's gonna save you, kind of thing. And it just goes back to the whole people having a safe, secure job. It's actually never secure. People say, oh, it's risky doing business, it's risky investing. It's risky staying in your job. If you stay in your job and that's 100% what you're in, and that's all you do, what happens when you get fired? What happens when made redundant? Now you've got nothing to fall back on, no knowledge. All you've got is that I worked in this company, that's it. Wow. In this part, Rich Dad also said that your first paycheck is the most damaging thing you will ever get. And like Rich Dad's viewpoint was that becoming dependent on a paycheck and relying on that solely for survival can obviously lead to a lifetime of financial struggle and limited growth, like I said, because it's all you know, you're 100% in on that. And so Rich Dad emphasises that many people become trapped living paycheck to paycheck, which is called the whole rat race, and solely working for money, which again, this is a principle or a quote of Rich Dad's that don't work for money, make money work for you. And he believed that relying on a paycheck, individuals often become comfortable and lose motivation to explore other possibilities for financial growth and wealth creation. And I've talked about this before as well, but people like fully focus on that. They can't think of anything else. They probably don't even think about escaping the job. They hate it, but they keep telling themselves they love it. And they chase the weekend and say, oh, it's Friday, and that Monday feeling, and you see it all the time. And they keep telling themselves they love it, trying to make themselves believe it when they don't. And at the end of the day, they're going to retire and think, I wish I did what I enjoyed, or I wish I built something to live off now, whatever. The next part is embrace the power of assets. Well, the next rule, I keep forgetting. So Rich Dad emphasised just how important it is to have assets, and it's because assets put money, well, the simple way of putting it is an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. For example, real estate properties, stocks, bonds, and obviously business. Or the new one, knowledge. It's a weird one, but knowledge is an asset. If you buy books, it's an asset. Like you are the biggest asset. This is another thing what Dan Coe says. And then I've got a video on that. What is an asset? And I've also got a video on what is a liability. Simply put, money that takes something that takes money out your pocket. This is many things like mortgages, your house, a big one, credit cards, car loans, clothes that you don't need, really anything that you don't need, which is like an extra. Or good example, you can buy a Gucci top, I don't know how much, let's say £200, or you can buy a normal black top for like £5. You can work it out that you don't need the Gucci top, you want the Gucci top, and it's way more expensive. The next rule is understand the difference between good and bad debt. So good debt is like, again, things that can generate money, like properties or business. And then bad debt is liabilities like cars and loans. Yeah, loans for liabilities like cars or your own house or credit card debt. So that's all like I say, I keep repeating myself, but like a loan for liability, that's bad debt. And usually for unnecessary things. Good debt can actually build your wealth. I've heard a thing on this, well, I heard it years ago. I don't know how true it was. A t-shirt told me actually that Donald Trump, because he's got that much debt, and I think it's good debt, because it's like however many billion, he's actually better off than the banks, so he kind of owns them, so he's better off in a way. And also, I heard I tried to find the video to try and refresh my memory on it, but Robert Kiyosaki was talking about the first time, I think it was the first time, he got bad debt. I don't know, anyway, he was talking about bad debt, how his dad told him he should never do it. And the first time he did it was buying a property and land on emotions, which they tell you never to do. You should never buy something because of your emotions. And anyway, he'd always wanted land with property. He bought a property with land with like a river going through it, really nice. And then this is bad debt, and I've got the mortgage and all this. So what he ended up doing was selling the house with part of the land and keeping another part of the land and building his own house on the new part of land, the split up part of land. And then because he sold that part, that paid for the bottom part, so he ended up then being debt free. It's hard to work out unless you understand it, but it's just like with if you buy a house that has land with it, you can then build a house on the land and sell both, and obviously make, to put it easily, double the money, let's say. The next rule is develop the entrepreneurial mindset. So he always encouraged him, like I said, to get financial education. That's part of entrepreneurial mindset. To know what assets and liabilities are. That's financial literacy side of things. And he thought that like financial freedom obviously gives you a lot more life, really, because you can get the time, you can like have the money, you can live life in your terms. Whereas if you go down the route of good grades, good job, all that, get into debt from uni, start your life in debt, and then get a partner, get a house, more debt, marriage debt, you keep earning more money, but you keep having more expenses, kids, then have to pay for them, holidays, you're just stuck in a cycle, and it's not your fault because it's how the system is designed. But whereas if you, like I say, go down the business route and educate yourself and you become the asset, you can fail a business, but you've still got all the brains still. You can do it again, and you'll fail and fail, but you keep learning and you keep educating yourself. Like I say, you fail something or your business goes corrupt, you still have all the information in your head. The last rule is focus on cash flow, not net worth. I've read this again in many things, like what I'm reading now, The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. He says you think you need loads and loads of money to live the life you want, but you actually don't. It's not about having millions. You can do, like, for example, people think you need like millions to be able to do a simple travel, and he said you can actually do it for like 3,000 if you want to like go through bits of Europe. He said, he gave an actual example, but it's just off the top of my head. So back to the actual rule. Cash flow is like the flow of money into your pocket, like minus your expenses, and so your income needs to be higher than your outgoing, and that's what your cash flow actually is. So from your investments or your business, and this represents financial independence and freedom, which everyone goes on about, financial freedom. It's just the amount that you need minus your expenses to be able to live freely, really. And so you don't need to actually work. You're just getting money in from your investments, so your asset column. And back to what I was saying briefly, that I'm very much of the mindset you don't need loads and loads and loads of money now. I'm thinking because most of the things you buy with loads and loads of money you just don't need. Like, you'll be happy with them for a bit and then it'll wear off and you'll need to work a lot harder to actually get there. So I'm now more of the mindset that building something so you have to work the least to earn the right amount of money so that you can do what you like when you like and not have to worry about it, kind of thing. Definitely more about time than money, but also money buys time. So I think it's all like you've got to try and level everything out on how you actually want it. Anyway, that is the last rule, that to focus on cash flow, not net worth, because you can have a massive net worth, but that's not liquid money. You can't use it. It's just away somewhere that you can't really access, which is pretty pointless. And it's kind of like the old rich kind of ways where all you need to invest, if you stick all your money in property, your own money, you've got no money now and you're going to then have money in the future, which is in another book, The Millionaire Fast Lane, where he talks about all these old men in their Ferraris, and one of them actually, he asked them and they said, you're almost too old to enjoy it. So finish on that note. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Another informational video. I'm just trying to get through it. Rich Dad Rules in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Great book. Many people start with that, like how I did. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Turn the notification button on so you don't miss my valuable content. I know you don't want to miss the next one. And I'll see you in the next one.